Hello children, we are talking about lesson number 11, the Browning version from Hornbill book. The word version, V-E-R-S-I-O-N, this one, Browning version. Okay, if I can show you the content here. Okay, the word version itself means it's a noun which means the specific form or a variation of something. It's called version. Okay, the Browning version. The Browning is related to the brown color we are talking about. And author of this chapter is Terence Rattigan. Terence Rattigan has written this chapter. And here we have the introduction part of the chapter, as you can see here. Right in the front of you. So the Browning version is the play that cemented Terence Rattigan's reputations as a serious, mature playwright. Okay. Now what does it mean? Cemented. The word he mentioned here is cemented. Right? Now what is this cemented word over here? Right? If you can see, the cemented means which make his reputation as writer. Because here we have the word called cemented, right? Which I can show you. Can see this word cemented here? What is the cemented thing? Cemented is which made his reputation as a serious writer. Okay, and as a playwright. Another new word for you guys is here is playwright. Now, as you can see here, this word is a playwright. Now, who is the playwright here? The playwright is the one who writes plays. Okay. Now it is used as one of his best works, and this Browning version has been considered as one of the best work of the writer and one of the best one acts ever written. And this was first performed at Phoenix Theatre, London, England on September 8, 1948. Okay, in your country get independence is 1947 and it was performed in 1948. The Browning version was coupled with another one act by Rattigan entitled Harold Quinda under the umbrella name Playbill 1. This show ran for around 245 performances. This ran for 245 performances means this show was displayed almost 245 times. Okay, and because of this, the Rattigan has received the L-11 award for the Browning version, and this award was given to him second time. The first time he won this award 2 years earlier for another story called The Winslow Boy. Okay. Now let's talk about this here. The Browning version made its New York debut with Harold Quint on October 12, 1949, but only ran for 62 performances. Okay. While praise from British audience and critics was nearly universal when the play was performed in England. Okay. American critics were generally not as kind to the Broadway versions, and perhaps due to the subject matter. Now, what are the critics here? The critics are those who gave their feedbacks about this plays, that how it is. Okay. So further it says the Browning version concerns the life of Andrew Croker Harris. Now, who is this Andrew Croker Harris here? Andrew Croker Harris is a schoolmaster, okay, at a British public school. Okay. Now, Andrew is disliked by his unfaithful wife Millie, his colleagues, and his students. He is a schoolmaster, and he is disliked by his wife, he is disliked by his colleagues, other teachers, and his students. Now, Rattigan based the character and the story of the Browning version on a classical master he had at the school as a student. The Browning version is sometimes derided. Okay, now what is the term called deride? Okay, this one actually the term is deride. Deride means criticize here. Okay, so the Browning version is sometimes criticized for being too sentimental. Yes, this book has been criticized for being too sentimental. But many critics draw a distinction between its sympathetic sentiment and over sentimentalism. Most critics and the scholars believe that Rattinger's skills as a playwright transcend such problems. Now, what is the word transcend over here? Right? As you can see, if I show you the word here, it is called transcend. The transcend is it means to pass beyond the limits. Okay, it is called transcend. So it says that the skills as a playwright transcend such problems. Though only a one-act play, the Browning version is well crafted and a complete psychological story. It is. Okay. And it is inductive. The another term which is used over here is inductive, as you can see, right? Now, what is this inductive over here? The inductive is the sign or indication or a suggestion of his future direction. Okay. So it is inductive of his future direction as a playwright. This was a sign that his future is going to become a playwright. Now, as John Russell Taylor, J.R. Taylor is another famous English writer, and what he said, he has written something in a book called The Rise and the Fall of the Well-Made Play. Okay. What he written in the book, the Browning version. Okay. The Browning version, as well as being at once the Rattinger's tights and most natural singing construction job. Okay, according to J.R. Taylor, this is the one of the most constructive job of the task, okay, of writing, and then his most deeply felt play marks the beginning of his most distinctive and personal drama. Okay, and it marks the beginning of his most distinctive and personal drama. Now, further we will see the plot synopsis. Now, what is the plot synopsis? The word synopsis is a brief summary. So the story is about Andrew Crocker Harris, okay, who is the protagonist or the main character of the story. He has been teaching at a public school for almost 18 years and is forced to retire prematurely owing to ill health. And most of the time he was having some health issues, and due to which he has to retire prior his retirement age. Lack of success with his pupils, his blighted his youthful ambition and promises, and with his embittered wife Millie. Okay, now here the term which is used is embittered. Actual word is embitter. Here it is mentioned ed form of that embittered. It's a verb. It means to cause to be bitter. Okay, so to cause to be bitter, it means that. And one more word which we have seen in the vow line, which I show you here, this word called blighted, B-L-I-G-H-T-E-D, blighted. This is derived from the word called blight. The actual word is blight, B-L-I-G-H-T, blight, and this ed form is added there. This is called blighted. It's a verb actually. Okay, and blighted means the cause of suffer, ruin, or spoil. Okay, these are the different meaning of it. So the further we go with it. Okay, so what it says further here, that Millie's desire for her own particular brand of love, emotional and physical, is as great as Andrew's desire for the fulfillment of his own platonic ideal. The tragedy is that neither can satisfy the other's needs. Okay, means both the husband and wife, they were not able to satisfy each other. The Millie has been seeking consolation in an affair with Hunter, it's the science master. Okay, and she's having an affair with the science master now. Okay, it's called Hunter, who is about to discard her. Now Andrew finds his protective arm of indifference, okay, and loveliness pierced in the sense of entered by the action of a small boy. Okay, and who is the loveliness entered in the story with the help of a small boy here. Its name is called Taplo. Okay, so the Taplo is the another character here in our story. The Taplo is a student who gives him a second-hand copy of Browning's translation of the Agamemnon of Aeschylus. Okay, and his master's favorite play. That was the violent outburst of emotion which greets this little gesture of goodwill and Millie's spiteful attempt to destroy its value in Andrew's eyes, pretending the gift was only a piece of flattery calculated to evade a punishment. Okay. brings the marriage to a crisis. In the last few minutes before he leaves, the Andrew makes an unexpected gesture of defiance towards the headmaster, who has constantly humiliated him, and finds in the applause that greets his frank apology for his failings to assemble school courage to face a new life. He rejects Millie, who was this time also been cast off by her lover. Okay, children, now we are going ahead with the summary of the part of the drama that our textbook includes. Okay, so in this story, as you know, there are the two schoolmasters are there. Okay, this one act play, the one act play is a story of the two school teachers and a student named Taplo. Okay, Taplo is a student here. He is actually in the fifth grade, and he is around 16 years old. Okay, now Mr. Crocker Harris is a middle-aged teacher. Okay, while Mr. Frank is a young colleague. Okay, now if I show you here, so as you can see, this is Mr. Harris Crocker. Okay, where is he? Mr. Harris Crocker. Right, is Mr. Harris Crocker. And Taplo is the student of the fifth class. Okay, he's a boy of 16 years old, as I told you. Both the teachers provide a striking contrast. Okay, what is the meaning of the striking contrast? Means they both have their different ideologies. Okay, their way of thinking is very different. They have only one thing in common: they belong to the same school. And what common thing do they have? Is they belong to the same school. That's the only thing they have. Now here we have how the personalities are different from each other. So first we look at the Frank. The Frank is an open-minded person. Here open is mentioned. It means he is open-minded and he is having a friendly nature with others. And as far as the Crocker Harris is, he is a reserved person. He is a bit strict by his nature. Okay. And young Frank is quite open to his students. Okay, means he remains most of the time friendly with the student. He doesn't keep any distance while dealing with his students. Okay, and he doesn't even like to keep any distance with the students. Okay. Taplo is not a student of Frank's classes actually, okay, but still he takes a lot of interest in Mr. Frank. Okay, his long conversation with the Taplo reveals his open nature, and he often talks with the Taplo, and this reveals his open nature. That how friendly, open nature in the sense is how friendly he is. Okay. On the other hand, Mr. Crooker Harris is a quite reserved person. He does not mix up with his students. He maintains some distance with them. Okay. Now further we see the Frank cares little. Okay, he cares little, and the Cracker Harris is strict follower of the rules. Okay, means when it comes to the rules regulation part. Okay, so Mr. Frank is little bit I can say he's a little liberal, but Harris Crocker is little strict. So Mr. Frank does not believe in observing the formalities, okay, and he cares little regarding the rules and regulation. As far as the rules are concerned, Mr. Frank takes very little interest in the rules and regulation. But on the other hand, Mr. Crocker Harris follows them very strictly, and in this regard, he is different from other teacher. He never leaks out the results till they are formally announced. Okay, so. In this regard, this Mr. Crooker, okay, he never leaks any result. He is very strict. He never disclose anything related to the official matters.